27, 2025, reorganization and regular meeting of the Township of Morris Board of Adjustment. Can we all turn on our microphones? Thank you. Statement of adequate notice has been made in accordance with according to the Open Public Act, and statement certifying the same has been executed. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, I will ask Mr. Oler to administer the oath of allegiance and the oath of office to Mr. Benoit and Ms. Betty Simmons.
Why don't we meet in that corner where there's a little more room? You just raise your right hand, repeat after me. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and I will bear faith and allegiance to the same
and I will bear faith and allegiance to the same
and to the governments established in the United States
and to the government established in the United States
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people.
so help me God.
So help me God.
I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly
that
swear
I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly perform
all the duties of the office
all the duties of the office
of the Board of Adjustment
of the Board of Adjustment
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Welcome back.
Thank you. Good job. Thank you.
And your all signed up.
You've been conscripted.
I know, right?
Here you go.
Thank you. Okay, I will take attendance now. Mr. Goldberg,
Here.
Mr. Trachtenberg,
Here.
Mr. Williams,
Here.
Ms. Fulara,
Here.
Mr. Benoit,
Yes, here.
Ms. Simmons,
Yes.
Mr. Woodford,
Here.
Mr. Oler,
Here.
Mr. Hanson,
Here.
and I, Sonia Santiago, here. At this time, I would like to entertain nomination for Chairman of the Board of Adjustment for the year 2025. Any nominations?
And yes, I'd like to nominate Paul Woodford as chair. I'll second that.
Second, Mr. Benoit. Mr. Woodford, would you like to chair?
Oh, we should.
And ask if there's any more nominations.
Any more nominations? All in favor? Any
Aye.
opposes? Mr. Woodford, you may have your chair.
Okay. No problem. You ready? Yeah, sorry about the chair. Next, we'll take nominations for the year 2025 for chairperson.
I'd like to nominate Lee Goldberg.
I have a second.
Second.
All right. Any other nominations? Close the nominations. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Mr. Goldberg, you're vice chairman. Thank you. Okay, now we have several resolutions. The first is a designation of board legal counsel for Mr. Oler of Oler and Breslin. I assume, do we have to do this by roll call or voice? Okay. Okay. So I have someone to propose the resolution?
Mr. Chairman, I will move it.
No,
Do I have a
second for council?
Yes. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Mr. Oler, welcome back.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
I think you should do the oath of office.
You can administer it.
I'd
How's
love
that?
to.
Next is the designation of Paul Phillips as the planning consultant for the board. Can somebody move the,
I would like to move Mr. Phillips as our planning consultant.
have a second? Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Next is a resolution to appoint Joseph Fishinger as the professional traffic operations engineer. Someone move the resolution?
I'd like to move that for Mr. Fishinger.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Next is the resolution for the professional services of an engineering consultant, Joseph Scupian. Have someone move that resolution?
I'll move that.
Thank you. Do I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I could just say, Sonia, on that one, the first line where it says authorizing award of non-fair. That
Yeah.
should be fair is misspelled.
On the
On the
resolution,
resolution.
right here.
Got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, next is a resolution for the calendar for this year and for the, oh, did I skip that? Oh, sorry. Next is the resolution for the licensed surveyor consultant, Christopher Malik. Have someone move that resolution?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right. Next is a resolution setting the calendar for the year 2025 and for the reorganization meeting for January 26, 2026. Anybody have any problems with the, any of the dates? If not, I'll entertain a motion. Motion to approve the calendar. Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Next, we have the resolution to designate the official newspapers of the Board of Adjustment, Morristown Daily Record, and didn't the Newsbee on here? And the Morris Newsbee. So I have a motion for this resolution.
I'll move it.
Thank you. Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? No. Oh, then we have the, well, let me just turn the page. The appointment for professional engineers for 2025. Board engineer would be David Hanson. Alternate board engineer would be James Slade, at least for the next month. Then alternate engineer, Bernard Sanger. And we can also throw in there board secretary, Sonia Santiago. Do I have a motion for, to approve all those appointments?
So move.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Then we go to our regular meeting. First is a resolution BA 12-24. Mr. Oler.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a memorializing resolution with respect to the application filed by the Del Martin School, who applied for preliminary and final site plan approval, bulk variance relief, and D3 conditional use variance relief with their proposal to construct a new student life center on property located within the OSGU zone at 230 Mendham Road in the township. And that application, for the reasons set forth in the resolution, was approved conditionally with our standard conditions, as well as conditions indicating that all site lighting fixtures shall be dark sky compliant. The applicant shall comply with the township's do not plant list and shall revise the landscape design plan accordingly. The proposed parking shall be installed with hairpin striping. The applicant shall install 2 standpipe connections on each level of the parking garage to ensure adequate fire department access to water in the event of an emergency, and the applicant shall install a fire hydrant at the level 1 parking entrance. And the applicant shall comply with all township agency reports, including the fire department report and the environmental commission's report. And I did note that the dates at the signature line were incorrect, which I've since corrected and sent to Sonia.
All right.
That's
Does
that.
anyone have any questions or make any changes to the resolution? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion.
All right, do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Ms. Santiago, roll call, please.
Mr. Goldberg,
Yes.
Mr. Trachtenberg,
Yes.
Ms. Simmons,
Yes.
Mr. Benoit,
Yes.
Mr. Woodford.
Yes.
So moved.
Okay.
The next resolution, also a memorializing resolution with respect to the application filed by Matthew and Amy Masterson, who applied to the board for permission to remove an existing 20-foot by 20-foot garage and replace it with a 24-foot by 24-foot two-car garage in the rear and side yard, creating rear yard setback to the new garage of 5.2 feet where 25 feet is required, a side yard setback of 1.4 feet where 20 feet is required, where 0 feet currently exists, and creating a combined side yard of 8.1 feet where 50 feet is required and where 6.7 feet currently exist. That property is at 100 Burnham Parkway. It's in the RH15 zone. And again, for the reasons set forth in the resolution, that application was granted conditionally with standard conditions as well as conditions indicating that the existing wood deck and the wood shed would be removed, and there'll be no plumbing installed within the second floor of the garage, and that the garage shall not be used as a separate living quarters.
All right. Board members, any questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion that we approve this resolution.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Ms. Santiago?
Mr. Goldberg,
Yes.
Mr. Trachtenberg,
Yes.
Ms. Simmons,
Yes.
Mr. Benoit,
Yes.
Mr. Woodford.
Yes.
So moved.
All right. Next, we have, moving on to public hearings. First is BA-17-23. Mr. Oler.
So we received some communication from the attorney for Mr. Ewing indicating that they had some people not available this evening and requested an adjournment. And I believe, Sonia, there's an extension now that they've provided us through April.
April 1st.
Is that right? April
Yes.
1st?
Yes,
Okay. So through
And,
March.
and the meeting has been rescheduled for the
February 24th.
February 24th.
Okay, so for any member of the public here for the Ewing application, it's not being heard this evening. It will be heard on February 24th at 7 PM in this room, and there'll be no further notices to the public from the applicant.
Okay. Next, moving along, we have BA-16-24, block 8003, lot 48. Ms. Santiago.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, this is BA-16-24 Todd Goldberg, Block 8003, Lot 48, 6 Arbor Way in the RA15 zone for Section C. Applicant proposes the construction of a second-story addition, creating a side yard setback of 15.23 feet where 20 feet is required, a one-story addition creating a side yard of 14.7 feet where 20 feet is required, and a combined side yard setback of 29.9 feet where 50 feet is required. Applicant will also seek a variance relief to expand a non-conforming structure. Mr. Goldberg?
All right.
You guys can sit
Come on up.
where you're comfortable here. And do we have anyone else who's going to testify?
Is there a plug over there?
There is a plug in front of the table right here. Thank you, Todd.
You're welcome.
Let's let him get here, and then I'll swear. Is there other than you two?
If needed, our architect is here.
Okay. So if needed, I'll swear him in when we get there. Okay.
No, I don't know.
both please stand and raise your right hands? Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you will give to this board will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? And for the record, would you identify yourselves, please?
Good evening. My name is Todd Goldberg. I live at 6 Arbor Way in Morristown, New Jersey, and I'm the owner of the property.
And I am Tomas Matias, Matias, a professional engineer with H2M Associates, here on behalf of the owner and applicant.
Okay. So who's going to go first?
And go ahead.
Okay, so would you then just describe to the board your professional background, educational background, please?
Sure. I'm a project engineer with H2M Associates. I've been with them for about 9 years, working on site plans, lot grading plans, subdivisions, lot development in New Jersey, New York area, primarily in Morris County. I have intimate knowledge of this application. I prepared it, and I haven't testified before this board before, but I've assisted in preparing a number of site plans and lot grading plans for this board. I've testified in front of other boards in Morris County.
And you're licensed in New Jersey?
I'm licensed in New Jersey as a professional engineer and also a certified municipal engineer.
Thank you.
Okay, you may proceed. Who wants to go first?
I was just going to share the site plan on the screen. If that's okay. I'm just joining the Zoom right now. Okay. And the screen is a variance plan submitted. To allow just do a quick overview of the site application, what's being proposed. The site is block 8003, lot 48, also 6 Arbor Way. We're in the RA 15 single family detached residential zone. The lot is a generally rectangular lot. It's developed with a single-family 2-story dwelling constructed in approximately 1962. Again, we're located in the RA 15 residential zone, where it's a single-family lot zone with a minimum 15,000 square foot lot requirement. The neighboring properties are also within the RA 15 zone. The subject property is actually 14,922 square feet, which is a slightly undersized lot for the zone. This is an existing non-conforming condition, and for the reasons continue to think that the existing lot dimensions present a hardship to the applicant. The existing side yard is non-conforming, is 14.74 feet, where 20 feet is required. And the combined side yard is also in existing non-conforming condition of 29.91 feet, where 50 feet is required. And this project is proposing additions to the house just to modernize it, make it more functional. I'll zoom in on the screen to explain them slightly. The shaded area to the left of the screen is currently a 1-story garage And the first phase of the project would be an addition over this garage, making it 2 stories and adding a larger primary bedroom. An additional phase of the project is this darker shaded area to the rear. Currently, the limits of the house are within the white, and there will be a 1-story expansion to the rear of the house for a larger kitchen and dining area. And the setbacks currently are non-conforming, and the intent of the project is to maintain those setbacks, not to encroach any further on what's there. And I was saying earlier, the house was constructed in 1962, which is likely before the current RA15 requirements. And if you look at an area map, which is also on the plan, zooming in, the lots on the street are generally of the same dimensions. The shaded areas are the existing dwellings, and it's likely that many of these lots present the same non-conforming side yard conditions. Again, the intent of these improvements is to maintain the side yard setbacks that are there today and not exacerbate those conditions. There are some exterior improvements proposed, such as repaving and slightly expanding the driveway. The driveway would be lengthened a bit to allow better access for this rear-loaded garage, which is on the 1st story. There's also an expansion to the patio to the rear of the house. There's an existing patio there. It'll be realigned with the addition. And as well, you'll see a short seat wall, which is 18 inches to 2 feet, just to help grade out the rear of the property, provide additional flat space, and make a nice seat wall for the patio. In addition to the expanded driveway, the owner is also proposing to add a curb along their side of their driveway where their neighbor is. The curb will also help direct stormwater runoff along the driveway instead of directing it towards the neighbor. And currently on the plan, this blue dashed box is a dry well. And that's shown on there per township block grading standards. When there's a net increase of 500 square feet or more of impervious surface, you have to counteract that with a seepage pit or some form of infiltration. We actually had a discussion with the Township Engineering Office earlier today. I guess there's some local drainage problems in the area. There's concerns that the soils may not accept a seepage pit, and in discussion with them, they're willing to waive the seepage pit requirement for lot grading plans, just that it's not going to practically function well here. And given the fact that we're proposing a new curb along the driveway, runoff as it is today is coming off roof leaders onto the driveway, but now the curb will help direct the stormwater runoff out to the road, and also there's existing inlets on the street. So we think that that's a better approach to handle stormwater runoff, and we'll work with the Township Engineering Office when submitting the lot grading plan for any other requirements they may have.
Can I just interrupt? Mr. Hanson, have you reviewed all that proposal?
Yes.
And it's all acceptable to you?
Yes, groundwater is quite high in that area. Numerous houses in the area have multiple sump pumps or water problems in their basement. It doesn't make sense to try to recharge the groundwater if it's going to affect neighboring properties. Due to the slight overage, over 500 square feet for this, we don't see a problem with the diversion along the gutter of the repaved driveways out to the street, and let the road drainage handle the runoff.
Okay, thank you. Continue.
Thanks. And just to summarize, the intent of the project is to modernize the home, expand it slightly, and maintaining the setbacks that are there today. And the variances being requested include the expansion of a non-conforming structure, like we said earlier, the lot dimensions being they are provide a hardship to the applicant. And the minimum side yard setback is 14.7 proposed, where 14.74 is existing and 20 is required. And the additional variance is for both side yard setbacks, where 29.87 is proposed, 29.91 is existing, and 50 is required. Just wanted to note that the building coverage, there's 20% permitted, we're at 14% existing and 16% proposed, so we'll comply there. And same for total impervious coverage, the zone allows for 45%, existing is 33%, and 37 is proposed. And with that, open up to any questions from the board. Has anything you want to add?
And so you're basically moving about an inch closer to the property line?
Yeah, the intent is to be the same, but we can't be as accurate as the surveyor. So there's a little bit of a tolerance.
Should we do this at 14.5 just to make sure that there's no issues in construction or something a little askew? Would that be a problem? And then adjust the variances accordingly? Because we're talking about 0.2 of a foot. So-
Agree, yeah. We're trying to be the same, but like you said, the siding is slightly off or
Right.
one extra brick.
Does anybody have a problem with that?
Mr. Chairman, I had the same question. Because if they're going to go back and the house is not parallel to the property line, and rather than going at an angle to keep it parallel, if they just went back another, it would only be a couple inches at the most to square it off, rather than come back as an angle. I mean, that's how I see it. I don't know whether.
Agree to you change the variance slightly to give us that
Yeah,
tolerance.
So the side yard and the combined would have to be adjusted. Instead of 14.7, side yard would be 14.5, and that would make the combined to be
2973.
Sorry, say again?
2973. Mr. Hanson, do you think that would be enough? 0.2 inches? Yeah. Okay.
2973, yeah, or 29,
Am I right?
Yeah, you're right.
okay.
I think we're being a little conservative there, but arching of the concrete on the, you don't know how a surveyor actually pinned the corner.
Right,
He could be off an inch himself
Right.
based on how he held the rod against the side of the house.
right,
So giving him 2/10 is not a problem.
all right,
It'll show up when we ask for the as-built prior to CO.
okay,
I think it's safe to say the intent is for it to be squared off.
right,
So whatever that dimension is.
great. Any other board members with questions?
Yes, Mr. Chair. With the addition over the garage, are there any plans to do any type of renovations to the garage itself, or you're just leaving it the way it is?
I believe they're replacing the garage door and maybe putting a concrete apron outside the garage. I don't think there's really significant improvements in the garage.
Great.
So you're not altering the size of the garage or anything?
Go ahead.
This is on, right?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Good evening, board members. Thank you. For the intent on the back is that there would be a slight change to the garage. We would go from two single garage doors to a common double entry, but the square footage of the garage and the footprint would remain as is.
Okay,
Just
thank
the
you.
access would be a single door.
Okay. And there wouldn't be any access to the second floor from the garage? You still have to go into the house interior to do that?
That's correct. There's no direct access to the second floor from the garage below it.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
You're welcome.
Any other board members with questions? Any members of the public with any questions? Yes.
No, Mike.
That one is,
Oh, it works. Hi, Steve
Your name?
Mussolino, 8 Arbor Way.
I'm sorry, say again.
Steve Mussolino, 8 Arbor Way.
Spell your last name, please.
M as in Mary, U, S like Steve, O, L, I, N like Nancy, O.
Okay.
So my understanding is then, based on this morning's discussions, the dry well is no longer in the plan, and everything will go from the leaders to the driveway, which is, has
Curbing,
curbing and directed to the street.
correct.
That's all I needed to know. Thank you. And also, congratulations, Todd.
Thank you. I haven't voted yet, but.
Does anybody need to hear from the architect? Does any board member want to hear from the architect? I think we have enough. Okay. This is a de minimis change for an expansion that's well needed and will improve the neighborhood and the quality of living at the residence. So I would be in favor of this application. Anybody have anything else to say? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I agree with you. I would move approval for this application.
Did you have a second? Thank you. Yeah. Ms. Santiago?
Mr. Goldberg,
Yes.
Mr. Trachtenberg,
Yes.
Mr. Williams,
Yes.
Ms. Simmons,
Yes.
Mr. Benoit,
Yes.
Ms. Fulara,
Yes.
Mr. Woodford,
Yes.
so moved.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
I'll have
Appreciate
a
it.
resolution at the next meeting for you.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep, no problem. Yeah, how are you?
Stay good neighbors.
Just want to get confirmation from Dave before we get
I can do that
too
too.
much further. Otherwise, I'll forget what the hell we're talking about. Next application is BA-17-24. Ms. Santiago.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, this is BA-1724, Daniel Valvano, Block 7302, Lot 1211, Prospect Place in the RA15 zone for Section C. Applicant proposes the construction of a front entrance portico creating a front yard setback of 34.1 feet, where 50 feet is required, and a second-story dormer addition creating a 12.9-foot side yard setback where 20 feet is required. Applicant will also seek a variance for the expansion of a non-conforming structure.
Mr. Valvano, would you stand and raise your right hand, please? You solemnly swear that the testimony you will give to this board will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. I do. And just for the record, your name,
Daniel Valvano?
and you're the owner?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, good evening, everybody. I'm here on behalf of myself and my wife and my two children who are at home. What we are proposing to do to our house is add a front dormer to the existing 1.5-story home and also a front portico. I currently have a existing non-conforming lot size in the RA15 zone, and that is 55 square foot lot, where it should be a 15,000 square foot lot in that zone. And that creates problems as far as setbacks. So the side yard setback and front yard setback would be affected by this front facing dormer over the first floor, as well as the front portico. The proposed front portico would be 34.1 feet from the street, and the front dormer would be 37.9 feet from the street. The front dormer would be 12.9 feet from the side yard, where 20 feet is required. We flip to, I'm going to skip right to the page A3. That kind of explains the project the best from the front, proposed front elevation, which is 4 on page A3.
plans up in the screen here.
Oh, no,
So if you compare the 3A3 to the 4A3, that's the best way to,
What page you looking at?
oh, A3.
A3?
It's A1 out there, right? It's A1? No. It's A3.
No, back one. That's it.
Perfect. So this is probably the best page to see what's going on. If you look at 3A3, which is the existing front elevation, compared to a 4A3, which is the proposed front elevation, you can see that there's a front dormer, front-facing gable dormer in the roof line of this cape from probably, I think it's the 1940s, as well as a gabled front-facing portico over the existing front stoop. Because the gable dormer is going over the existing first floor, adding to the second floor footprint, there's no additional lot coverage or building coverage added. Same as the front portico, there's no additional lot coverage or building coverage added to the stoop that's there. If you look at the A1, the 1 on A3 and 2 on A3, which is the existing second floor plan and proposed second floor plan, you can see adding this front dormer space would allow me to utilize the existing attic space and convert it into a bedroom for our growing family. The front door portico will not affect the neighborhood or any views or have any negative effects on any of the neighbors or the neighborhood. And I think overall enhance the look of the home.
Have you had any discussions with any of the neighbors?
Yeah,
And what did they?
everybody's okay with it.
All right. And what's the distance from the portico to the right away?
34.1 feet.
Okay.
It's about 4 foot, it's 4 feet deep, 7 feet wide. So you'd be
Okay.
going over that.
Okay, so it'll be 34.1, right?
Yeah, the existing house is 37.9.
And that's not gonna, the house isn't gonna change, it's just the portico's gonna,
They're just putting a roof over the doorway.
right. And that's for safety reasons and so people can be out of the rain when they're sitting at the front door.
Right, rain and snow. This last snowstorm wasn't too great.
Yeah. Okay. Any board members with questions? Any members of the public with questions? Seeing none at all? Hearing none, close the public portion. Board members, any discussion?
Mr. Chairman, there's a house across the street with the same exact dormer, and the house next door is kind of towering over this. I think this can only help the neighborhood and help the homeowner too. That would be a great purchase.
Will you make a motion to approve it?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Thank you. Ms. Santiago?
Mr. Hoover,
Yes.
Mr. Trachtenberg,
Yes.
Mr. Williams,
Yes.
Ms. Simmons,
Yes.
Mr. Benoit,
Yes.
Ms. Fulara. Yes. And Mr. Woodford.
Yes.
So moved.
Okay.
Thank you.
And I'll have that resolution for the next meeting as well.
Thank you.
Any other matters that need to be discussed? Any appeal filed on Springbrook?
No, no appeal was filed
And are we out of time? Are they out of time?
at that time.
Okay.
The only thing that I've heard back is that Rusty is preparing the meets and bounds for the subdivision
Okay.
for deed so that it can be depicted on the tax maps. So,
All right. Great. Any other matters? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Have a second. Do I have a second to adjourn?
Second.
Okay. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Meeting adjourned.
Well done for your first meeting.